welcome back to Vision on TV's Breaking Tech, and today we have a fantastic show about Firefox.
Well, not just about Firefox, I hope. My name is Gerv, I work for Mozilla, and I'm hoping to talk here at the conference at Open Tech today about why Mozilla is more than just Firefox.
Okay, what's the difference between Mozilla and Firefox?
Mozilla is the organisation, and Firefox is our most famous product.
Okay, and why do you make this web browser?
Well, Mozilla's mission is to preserve choice and innovation on the internet, to keep the internet an open platform, accessible to everyone, where no one company or organisation has a stranglehold on it, can determine its direction, can charge fees for its use, that kind of thing. Way back when, in sort of the prehistoric dark ages known as the early 2000s, one company did have pretty much that level of control of the internet, and we can see in hindsight that that was not good for the internet. The internet has the ability to be a force for significant good in the lives of millions and millions of people. And it's not going to be that force if one organisation is saying, yeah, the internet can do this, no, we're not going to let the internet do that. We built Firefox to break that monopoly, and we did.
Okay, tell us what are the numbers behind web browsers on the internet?
In terms of market share. At the moment, Firefox is heading pretty close to 30%, Chrome a bit above 10, Internet Explorer less than 60 and going downwards. But it's very hard to get good numbers. It depends from country to country. In Indonesia, Firefox has like an 80% market share. In South Korea, it's more like 10% because the South Koreans decided 20 years ago or 15 years ago that all of their banking would be done using ActiveX. So no one using Linux can go on the internet and bank in South Korea. No one using a Mac. No one using Firefox.
So basically, so
about it now, actually.
Corporate standards broke the internet in that country.
In that country, yeah, it's an incredibly interesting situation to study from an anthropological point of view, but it sucks to be South Korean right now.
Okay, so tell us more about what you're talking about here today.
I'm here to talk about a new program that Mozilla is doing called Join Mozilla, and the idea is that there are sort of 400 million people using Firefox on a monthly basis at least, and 399,990,000 of those just use it. They don't do anything else. And yet, when people come to understand that Mozilla is a non-profit, that our goal is the future of the web, and we have a vision of the way the web should be, as a level playing field, open to all, open standards, not closed off and locked up by particular companies. A lot of people think that that's a really compelling vision. They can see the value in that, but they don't really know what they can do to help. And Join Mozilla is about people basically giving us a vote of confidence, saying, yes, we like what you're doing, we want to support you, we may not have the technical skills to contribute code or QA, or we may not have a lot of time, but we want to say, yes, this is a good thing.
So it's a traditional NGO model of people can be passive supporters and buy the t-shirt.
You can buy a t-shirt if you like, that would help. I mean, the way it works is that you sign up at mozilla.org/join, you just give us your email address, you pay $5, we want to make it accessible to as many people as possible, including people in developing countries and so on and so forth. We try and set it very low, $5 a year, and that is your way of saying, yes, Mozilla's vision of the internet is what I want to see.
Okay, just briefly, just recap Mozilla's view of the internet. How does that differ to how the internet is now?
Actually, the way the internet is now is in many ways good. The internet has developed as an open system. There was a rocky period back where it was stagnating. Right now, lots of different browser companies are collaborating on open standards to make the web better. We've got new cool stuff like geolocation, like web video, things like that. But the threats to the internet are now coming from a different direction. Whereas before it was someone having control of the browser, and we saw off that threat. Now it's people having, for example, control of identity. Right. So say what happens if you use a certain kind of identity service that allows you to sign on to a bunch of websites.
Facebook.
There are a number of these where you can sign on to a bunch of websites without having to provide a username and a password. That sounds really convenient, right? But then suddenly that service decides that some photo you posted they didn't like, or you're saying something politically that's a little bit iffy, or someone makes a complaint, and your account evaporates. And oh dear, that's a shame. Then you go to a bunch of other sites and suddenly you can't get into them either. You've been locked out of all of your data, right? This is a centralization. And it's not good for people, and it's not good for the web. Mozilla is starting new programs in that particular area and in other areas to try and provide alternatives, to provide privacy-enhancing alternatives for sharing personal data, to provide personal control alternatives for sharing your identity, and basically make the web something that is in the hands of the users and not in the hands of the corporations. There's nothing wrong with making money, but making money at the expense of the openness of the internet and at the expense of control that your customers should keep. is not what we're in favour of.
So what technology is going to get people out of these corporate silos? Because 3/4 of internet traffic in America, I believe, is Facebook, and probably 3/4 of web video is probably YouTube. What is actually going to motivate people to leave these corporate silos and do something more intrinsic, something more that's in the spirit of the web?
Well, in video particularly, there's compelling technical solutions which show that video as part of the web experience is actually better than video when it's stuck in a little flash box, right? So video that's part of the web can interact with the rest of the page in a very webby way. People have done interesting things like this great project called Universal Subtitles at universalsubtitles.org, right? Which takes video and allows you to subtitle any video in the internet, and you can put in subtitles in the original language for the hard of hearing, and then in translated languages for people who don't understand the language of the video, and these are crowdsourced, right? And that kind of thing is made much easier by video being an actual part of the web that you can interact with and not stuck in some little box. So you can do all sorts of cool, interesting things with video. So there are technical reasons why video is better. In terms of the identity stuff, we hope that when open identity solutions arrive that are actually compelling to use and work with the way that people understand them. I mean, there's been OpenID,
which was very confusing. I used it myself.
Yes, I think the usability of OpenID suffered. In sort of, they had great technical ideas, but obviously it hasn't really quite worked, and we're hoping that the Mozilla Identity program, that it's just beginning now, is going to hopefully provide an alternative to that, which gives people more control of their identity online.
Okay, can you tell me some other groups that are working towards the open web?
That's a good question. I mean, a lot of groups have an interest in the open web in that they'd really like to see it succeed. But I can't, off the top of my head, think of another organisation which is as focused on making sure that that actually happens as Mozilla, and certainly not one which has as much resources and power to put behind the problem as we do. I mean, comparatively speaking, we're a tiny organisation. Someone once joked that, if you were going to get into a tech market, probably the one that you wouldn't pick is the one where you're competing with Microsoft, Google and Apple all at the same time. I mean, there's not many markets where that's true, right? And yet we're doing okay. We're a tiny company. And the reason we do okay, we're a tiny organisation, I should say, and the reason we do okay is precisely because we're not a company. It's because we're an organisation that has people around the world who root for us and who like what we're doing and who want to support us, either in small ways or in big ways. And that's how we win. That's our competitive advantage.
All right, find out more at mozilla.org, I believe.
That's right.
Okay, tune in for the next show. It'll be something completely different, I'm sure.